Namaskara, the South Indian is here. In the season, in the era when parties and politicians within a particular party rally around each other, even if it is the flimsiest of reasons, and I can give you many examples in the recent past where many of us of a particular age may sit back and think, is this even news? Why are we even covering it? It is so sad when there is protest and opposition to a leader from within a party. It's happening in Karnataka, and this is not the first time, and that is our top focus. Two stories today. First is about politics in Karnataka, and the second also from Karnataka about actor Yash, the KGF star. But wait for it. Meanwhile, let's focus on the first story. Like I said, this isn't the first time when the demand has come up. It was always there, but it came up in different avatars when the Congress formed the government, particularly in Karnataka. D K Shivakumar, the relatively young and savvy and a troubleshooter of a politician who was credited with bringing the traditionally loyal to the JDS, that is the Vokkaligas, to vote for the Congress, was pitted against Siddaramaiah to run for Chief Minister. It was finally resolved after several meetings, and D K Shivakumar was made the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, albeit with a lot of heartburn. Do you remember how his brother D K Suresh at that time was very miffed and said it as much? Let me quote him. He said, "This decision has been taken in the interest of Karnataka and the party. My brother wanted to become Chief Minister, but he did not become. We are not too happy with this decision." So, since then to now, there have been constant demands from the party and government to have more than one Deputy Chief Minister. In the recent past, like let's say September 2023, Cooperation Minister Rajanna, a close associate of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, lobbied for 3 DCMs from the Veerashaiva Lingayat, SC/ST and minority communities, saying the move will help the Congress ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections.
No question of vacant post and all that. DCM post is not a constitutional post. He is also as good as a minister. Only thing for our convenience we are designating. So there is no question of vacant post and all that. DCM post, it is only an honor and respecting those communities and all that. So even now also, in the interest of the party, in the interest of the winning chances of the parliament election, I am suggesting it in spite of that. So anyway, ultimately High Command will take a call. They are the persons who decide. So we are ours is only to suggest the High Command.
Rajanna's statement has to be seen from the prism of the deep divide which exists between Siddaramaiah and D K Shivakumar camps. Although Rajanna said how the Lingayats would be wooed back if they are offered a Deputy CM post, experts believe that his comment was a retort against B K Hariprasad, who is a Shivakumar loyalist, who had hit out at the CM and said that G. Parameshwara, who is Home Minister, a Dalit, and Satish Jharkiholi, Public Works Minister from the ST community, should have been made DCMs close on heels from Karnataka MLA Baswar. And then of course there was yet another comment, that is Congress MLA Baswaraj Raya Reddy's statement saying there were discussions regarding a proposal to introduce 5 additional Deputy Chief Ministers into the cabinet. You know what, even as D K Shivakumar himself and also Priyank Kharge repeatedly kept saying, it's the individual wish, let them say what they want to, and the demand to have more Deputy CM refuses to go away. Also D K Shivakumar, went public and said we should not really shoot our mouths off. Even Siddaramaiah has said it, even Surjewala has said it, but to no avail. In the most recent demand was a select dinner meeting at the residence of senior Congress leader and Public Works Minister Satish Jharkiholi, and it is seen to be as part of a Congress section strategy to keep Shivakumar, who is also the state party unit chief, in check. Let's keep Shivakumar under check. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah was absent from this meeting, while it was attended by Home Minister Parameshwara, Social Welfare Minister H.C. Mahadevappa, Food Minister Muniyappa, all of them Dalit leaders, along with Cooperation Minister KN Rajanna and Jharki Holi, who are from the Valmiki Nayak ST community. Of course, there was Health Minister Dinesh Gundurao, the only Brahmin face at the dinner. What needs to be noted here is that most of these ministers are supposed to be close to Siddaramaiah. When Satish Jharki was asked if the additional Deputy CMs, did he discuss about it, he was very confident and he said, and I am going to quote him, he said with a lot, he was very cool about it. Cooperation Minister Rajanna has raised the issue of having more Deputy CMs on many occasions. Even we recommended it. Ultimately, our party leaders must decide what we have said. We all have to wait for the decision. You know something? D K Shivakumar is considered to be, like I said, extremely smart, very savvy, someone who is a troubleshooter, but maybe has interpersonal issues. What is this D K Shivakumar factor? Do you think he has rubbed many the wrong way? Is this his personality which actually threatens the others within the party? It's almost like a corporate organization. You know, this dialogue, you know, that we are realigning for 2024. That's what the other leaders keep saying. Do you think it's just an excuse to keep Shivakumar under check? Or is it the corruption charges that have spelled danger for the party even as we are hurtling towards 2024? Let's debate. My experts on the panel today. Dr. Baswaraj Itnal, senior journalist and political analyst, is joining us. Roja Kandit, senior journalist, is also joining us. Bhaskar Hegde, who is my colleague, editor TV9 Kannada Digital, and Bhanuchandar Nagarajan, who is also a political analyst. Namaskara to all of you. Roja, it is so good to see you today. When I was telling the guest coordination team, I wish I can show you that mail. I said, I want Roja. So they said, ma'am, she is busy. I said, no. You know, I want women also on the panel. Sorry, men, gentlemen. Sorry, but you know, every time we only have more men, and I think all the men here today will always accept that we need to have women, you know, also so far as our panels are concerned. So, very warm welcome. Roja, you have to unmute, ma. Unmute.
CM.
Roja, go on.
There are no women in the race for Deputy CM.
See, you are so right, ma. I know. There a day shall come, but then of course a woman Hebalkar is also, you know, under the so-called focus because of this constant fight between Satish Jharki and Shivakumar, whether imagined or real. You journalist will tell me something, Roja. Is this kind of again and again, if you keep repeating a falsehood, it becomes true? There goes the saying. What is this thing about again and again there is this demand, let's have more deputy chief ministers. According to Rajanna, it is good because we are going towards 2024, you know, someone from the SC/ST, one Dalit from minority. Satish Jharki also thinks the same. But somewhere, do you agree that there is an attempt to target D K Shivakumar because he is a thorn in their flesh, Roja? Roja? Roja, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you hear my question?
There is a network issue.
Okay. So, let me ask you again, this demand for 3 deputy chief ministers, more than 1 deputy chief ministers, the reasons given seem very specious, you know, like, oh, 2024, so on and so forth. Do you think it has to do with D K Shivakumar's personality? Do you think it is corruption charges which is hanging over his head like a sword? What is it about Shivakumar that everyone wants more deputy chief ministers than 1? I don't think she can hear me. So, please someone correct her audio before I go. Dr. Baswaraj Itnal, let me come to you. Did you hear what I asked Roja? You
Yes,
think,
yes, yes, I
so
did. I did.
would you kindly please take that question, sir?
See, D K Shivakumar, whatever is his public perception or his support base, whatever, he can be a bully in the organization. He is known to be a bully in the organization. Number one. Number two, just go to the history of this problem altogether. When Congress came to power, there was a huge, tug of war between Siddaramaiah and D K Shivakumar regarding who should be the CM. So when eventually D K Shivakumar was to step down, when he was asked to stand down, what were his conditions? Condition number one, I will remain the party president.
Right.
There is no, Congress has this rule that one man, one position.
Yes.
But he said, no, I'll remain the party president. And I will have my share of cabinet. These many members should be my people. Number three, I will be the only DCM. He did not say, I want to be DCM. He said, I'll be the only DCM. Deputy Chief Minister's position does not confer any additional power to you at all, constitutionally speaking. It is just meaningless constitutionally.
Right.
But politically, it sends a symbol. It sends a message. It's about optics. It's about optics of who is number two. So if there are 10 people who are number two, then there's a contest when number one retires.
Right.
Or when he exits. When Siddaramaiah retires or exits, whatever happens, that 50-50 rule, whatever, whether it is true or false, only Congress has to tell us.
Right.
But whenever that happens, number two becomes automatically the, inheritor. He's the heir to the throne.
Yeah.
In that thinking, D K Shivakumar insisted only I should be DCM, which could have been also acceptable to all leaders, including Jarkiwali or MB Patil, everybody. They would have accepted it. Why they are not accepting it? Because D K Shivakumar is interfering, not stopping their growth, but interfering in their politics.
All right.
Jarkiwali is extremely, disgruntled because D K Shivakumar directly pitted Lakshmi Hebalkar against him.
Yeah, in Belagavi. Yes, that's right.
In Belgavi.
Yes, true.
And he went on interfering in Belgavi politics.
Right.
This old Mysore leader went on interfering in Belgaum politics.
All right.
And he just cannot stand MB Patil.
Yeah, okay.
Now, if you have to allow them to bloom on their own and do their own politics, this problem would not happen.
Right. So therefore, yeah, absolutely. So let me bring Bhaskar Hegde.
Simply, D K Shivakumar is bullying in the organization.
All right. That's very, he's laid the foundation, Dr. Itnal, as it were. Bhaskar, very good to see you, Bhaskar. Bhaskar, how will this impact the Congress party? Look at the multiple problems, caste census, hijab, there are lots of, appointments to corporations, etc. But if the number one and number two are fighting like this, it's obvious there are two camps. And if there is a clarion call to all the time see to it that, there are two deputy chief ministers, three deputy chief ministers, do you think it's going to really ricochet badly on the Congress party even as the elections are knocking at our doors?
Yes, Sudha, I think you are right. What we hear and what we analyze is almost true because it is not only hurting or it is not going, it has already hurted a lot. In the sense, taking what Baswaraj's argument little forward, see, even this cabinet's decision to withdraw consent to CBI was basically a kind of taken because what I heard from here on the ground was Chief Minister Siddaramaiah was very reluctant to withdraw the permission given to CBI, which is probing disproportionate offense case of D K Shivakumar. So when he was forced, there was a fait accompli kind of moment for Siddaramaiah, and he took a decision. So there are so many issues which basically come as a kind of brought more and more disagreement between Deputy Chief Minister and Chief Minister. That is number one. Number two, I think this creating more DCMs will bring more votes in parliament is a misnomer. It will not happen.
Okay.
People are more clever. People will not link their preference of voting to the choice of deputy chief minister from their caste. I doubt. Because if you see the history of Karnataka, people voted totally differently from assembly election in parliament election. So therefore, I think if you create 3 chief DCMs or 4 DCMs, I doubt it will be having any kind of bearing on the parliament election result.
All right. Okay. So it's going to be counterproductive, says my colleague, TV9 digital editor Bhaskar Hegde. I have to take a break right now, ladies and gents. But when I come back, I go to Roja Kandit, senior journalist, and Bhanuchandar Nagarajan for what they think is this entire brouhaha about let's get more deputy chief ministers in Karnataka. Back in a jiffy. Do not go away.
Ram's Ayodhya rebuilt. Ram Lala's Pran Pratishtha. Countdown to January 22nd. Dateline Ayodhya. Catch the mega coverage only on News9 Live.
Thank you for staying. The South Indian is here. We are discussing this, which you see on the wall. Our focus is on Karnataka. Clarion call for 3 deputy chief ministers in Karnataka. It keeps coming back repeatedly. Let me go to the guests now. Let me get Roja on the screen right now. Roja Kandit, senior journalist. Roja, can you hear me? Hi. Roja, can you hear me? I think there is still some problem. So let me quickly now go to Bhanuchandar Nagarajan. Bhanu, do you think that this, is in a way because of, like Dr. Itnal began by saying that he's a bit of a bully, his style is such, maybe he's belligerent, maybe he's forthright, whatever. I mean, I do not know him personally, so no judgments. But do you think that like Satish Jharkholi and others also, Rajanna and Almuniappa, lots of them, it's almost like what happens in a corporate world, Bhanu, where you want the difficult guy to get out of your way so that your progress, your rise becomes easy. Do you think one can juxtapose these two situations, as it were?
I think this has become not an exception but a feature in Congress politics. You have seen this in Rajasthan between Gehlot and Pilot, in Chhattisgarh between Baghel and Singh Dev, 5 years ago in Madhya Pradesh between Digvijay and Kamal Nath, and 10 years ago in Assam between Gogoi and Hemanta Biswa. So I think this has become a feature. Probably the only exception is right now in Telangana with Revan, but also the central the central authority of the Congress, which is the family, I think, also needs to take blame on it because they don't want a very strong regional leader to develop as well. But in case of Karnataka, there are 2 other issues. One is the seniority of Siddaramaiah, and also second thing is they don't want to come across as they want a caste-neutral leader as a chief minister. They don't want to come across as pro-Lingayat or pro-Kaliga that way. So I think that was the reason they chose, they went for Siddaramaiah. But everybody knows that the prime mover of Karnataka Congress is DKS. So now, once the CM DCM issue is sort of settled, they are now probably 6 months into the regime. I think Siddaramaiah is playing his politics. He is instigating his cabinet colleagues to ask for more DCMs. This comes at a very critical juncture. One is obviously the corruption allegations have resurfaced again, and second thing is the alliance between JDS and BJP is also sort of concentrating Vokaliga votes towards that. At least that's an attempt towards that. So I think DK is on a back foot. A couple of quick points. One is like now that they have made this proposition, if they don't act on it, then they will see. Then the SCSP voters might feel that the Congress is not looking at them in a favorable light. But if they do it, then if they appoint the GCMs, then the DKS will be on the back foot, and that might affect their party strategy in Karnataka during the Lok Sabha election. So I think the Congress is in a group, but I think this feature of infighting and instability always has its effect on the governance of the state, especially with the guarantees coming up, and especially a huge amount of expenditure. I think this is going to affect the governance of the country.
All right. Dr. Itnal, Bhanuchandar makes a very good point. Now, I want to bring to your notice, of course, the kind of infighting which has now become public. KC Tyagi spoke about the kind of problems that are there in the India bloc, and he makes some very pertinent points. Now, having said that, the thing is that if you want 3 different deputy chief ministers, don't you think it is kind of foolhardy also? Because at least Vocaliga, you can credit it to DKS that he brought the Vocaligas from the traditional bastion of the JDS into the Congress's fold. There are no guarantees for Dalits or SC, STs, and don't you think that this completely looks like a personal vendetta rather than a well thought out strategy for 2024, Doctor?
It looks like a personal vendetta from either side. From the side of D K Shivakumar, also from the side of Siddaramaiah. Now, on either side, it looks like that. But like I said earlier, Deputy Chief Minister position does not give any additional powers to. When such is the case, when it is just a political optics, what Congress is going to lose or what Congress is going to win by nominating 3 or 4 or 5 Deputy Chief Ministers depending on their caste combination. It is not like only D K Shivakumar brought, he is responsible largely for the win. But at the same time, Lingayats also favored him. Lingayats also favored Congress.
Yeah.
And Jarkiwali is a big factor.
Yes.
Jarkiwali family, their politics, their entire Belgaum politics is very, very strong. Very, very strong. So in such a case, if there is a demand that an ST should be made a deputy CM or a Lingayat should be made or a Muslim should be made, what Congress is going to lose or is Congress going to win? Simple question. Is it to the advantage of the Congress or to the disadvantage of the party to nominate 2 or 3 or 5 even deputy chief ministers
but Doctor,
ahead of Lok Sabha elections?
Bhaskar says it's not going to make a difference.
Because we know it is optics. We know it is optics.
Yeah, like Bhaskar said, it's not going to make too much of a difference according to Bhaskar. Roja, can you hear me now, ma?
No, I think, this call again started after the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister came back after Lok Sabha preparations in Delhi. But this is surely the difference between Siddaramaiah and D K Shivakumar and nothing else. And at the ground level, I think it's important for the Congress to concentrate on development work, because it was a thumping victory that they got. It was a surprising victory they got. And people at the ground level are already unhappy that work is not happening in different departments. And the leader of opposition, Ashoka, told today, there is an intelligence report that BJP is going to win 25 of the Lok Sabha seats. I don't think he is far from the truth, because in Karnataka, people are used to voting, people out of power very quickly. So the Congress needs to concentrate on its job and not get carried away with this Deputy CM call, because that's not going to help them anyway.
All right. Bhaskar Hegde, tell me something. When it came to caste census, there was an open kind of, strain between Siddaramaiah and D K Shivakumar. When D K Shivakumar went for that Vocaliga meeting, when he also signed, in favor of not releasing the caste census in this existing avatar, Siddaramaiah later saying, no, that's what he thinks, then saying that maybe we'll do it later. Do you think that today, even as we speak, Shivakumar is facing a lot of opposition from every side because he is stronger than Siddaramaiah when it comes to leadership qualities? Do you look at it like that? That Siddaramaiah is more on a weaker wicket because there are 2 camps which are operative there.
Yes, Sudha, I think you might be right, because there was a function last week where Chief Minister himself admitted that D K Shivakumar is a very good organizer, and he worked really hard during the last election, and he showed his ability to organize the way he organized political functions, political strategy. In fact, Chief Minister himself admitted to that particular point. But just to extend that, see what happens, why people are upset with D K Shivakumar or why people are gunning for DK's blood is there is one more point. Basically, DK, he wants to kind of interfere in the portfolios or departments of other ministers, which others are very upset and they don't want to. So as a result, what the strategy might be, I think, is to cut him to size. They want to create more DCM posts and continue with the same portfolio so that when they come on par with DK, they can tell him, don't interfere in our departments. That could be one of the reasons. And as far as Lok Sabha elections is concerned, I think I agree with Roja, because they should not get carried away with the mandate they got last year May, because this is a totally different ball game. And as it is, government has kind of running all these 5 promises, and as a result, there are many schemes and many departments are facing the music, and they are not getting funds as of now. So the government actually overall, even though gets some good marks on the performance of 5 schemes,
All right.
there are so many schemes and departments which are not getting budget. As a result, they are getting negative marks also.
All right. Okay. And on that note, I'm going to take a break, and once I take a break, I'll come back and then we shall go to Bhanuchandra Nagarajan for what he thinks. Stay with us.
The scale of the attack was something that we were surprised at. David Hadley was a double agent. The Americans did not want him to be fully exposed, so all that he probably shared with the Americans was not shared with us in terms of intelligence. If we had that, I'm sure that we would have been able to deal with the situation far better.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
Ram's Ayodhya rebuilt. Ram Lala's Pran Pratishtha. Countdown to January 22nd. Dateline Ayodhya. Catch the mega coverage only on News9 Live.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
It was my 14th birthday.
On birthday, daughter waits
Home missing father.
He was carrying a cake for his daughter.
49-year-old Birmingham-based
Indian diplomat vanishes.
He was grabbed and bundled into a car by 4 assailants.
KLA claims responsibility. Demands Kashmiri separatists.
Maqbool Bhatt's release.
Goli maro, aur feck do. And within 3 days, they shot him dead.
Abducted diplomat.
Found murdered in Leicestershire.
I said, who ordered to kill him? To me, he said, yes, I ordered it.
And he never came home.
Stop searching. Start streaming. Download the world's first news OTT, News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Thank you for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. The South Indian is back and we are discussing this clarion call for 3 deputy CMs in Karnataka. Let me now go to Bhanuchandar Nagarajan, who is a political analyst, to speak more on this. Bhanuchandar, if I may ask you, the point of the matter is that, you know, like Bhaskar said, that it's a different ball game altogether. What? The 2024 elections which are coming. But what has happened is, in the country across, because of the caste census debate, it's about getting a backward to helm the affairs. So do you think that somewhere, maybe in retrospect, all of us in hindsight will be sitting here saying that maybe Satish Jarkiholi, let's keep his personal, Belagavi politics away for a moment, to say that maybe it would have been wiser to give more of a gravitas or rights to somebody who's a backward than a Vokaliga, that is Mr. D K Shivakumar. Do you think that that strategy does have some logic, you think, Bhanuchandar?
Yeah, absolutely, Sudha, that has logic. And if they have to do it, they should have done it, not like, throw the debate around in public and let the people judge what they do. Like what I said before, if you don't do, what happens? Their image goes for a toss, right? So when you do social justice politics and you take caste as an instrument, it becomes a double-edged sword. Okay. So Siddaramaiah is from the Kuruba community and he is considered class neutral, right? It's very similar to Ashok Gehlot in Rajasthan, where he is from the Mali community, and the big caste there are Rajputs and Jats. Similarly, in Bihar, Nitish Kumar is a Kurmi leader in the land of Yadavs, Thakurs, Brahmins, etc. So I think when you actually have a caste neutral leader to neutralize two big communities, the person will take that as an instrument and play his game, and that's exactly what Siddaramaiah is doing. I think, like what I said, it has to be seen how this plays out. If it doesn't happen, so what will people think of Congress? But I will again say that the governance is going to be the biggest. It's going to affect them quite a lot. Remember that Karnataka is the poster child for the Congress key guarantee sort of politics, right?
Right.
So it began there. Now they have Telangana. So I think that is where Congress fails there because of this. I think there is going to be an issue.
All right. Last 2 minutes that I've left, Dr. Itnal, I'm coming to you. Dr. Itnal, the thing is that the India bloc is also collapsing. I don't want to sound dramatic, but you know, it's collapsing in more ways than one. This whole thing between Siddaramaiah, who is actually keeping very quiet, people are saying he's extremely erudite and smart. He's keeping quiet because he's astute. You can't hear me, Dr. Itnal? I think Dr. Itnal can't hear me. Let me go to Roja. Roja, how much of this is going to impact, Roja, going forward? India bloc is collapsing, like I said, this whole kind of a thing that Siddaramaiah will look away when D K Shivakumar is thrown under the bus. I'm being over dramatic, but you know, like he's being attacked. To say that I'm the king, I don't care what happens to him. Is it going to seriously impact the Congress party in Karnataka, where they say, "Arey, they are fighting, how will they govern?"
Yes, it will impact because of that, and it will also impact because right now everybody is having Modi Jai because of your Ayodhya temple, on Jan 22nd inauguration. So there are going to be many factors, and the way they got a sway in the local elections is not going to happen with the Lok Sabha results. It is going to be tough for the Congress. And all these will be quoted as reasons because caste politics does matter in Karnataka to a big deal.
Right. And on that note, I think I need to thank all of you. Let me thank Roja. Thanks very much for joining. Sorry for the audio problem. Also, thanks are due to Bhanuchandar, Dr. Itnal. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And my colleague, Bhaskar Hegde. It's always such a pleasure when we discuss Karnataka politics with you. Thank you indeed. Thank you. Our second story today, the good lives with the bad. We can all get very philosophical about it, but the point is that when it hits even one of us, it's very, very difficult. Imagine it's the biggest day of your life and then you hear the saddest news. That's exactly what happened today. Our focus is on Karnataka. The superstar of Kannada cinema with a pan-Indian appeal turned 38 today, but knowing Yash of the KGF fame, one is sure that the tragedy which occurred on his birth date must have pained him no end. Let me just tell you what we are talking about. I'm looking at this camera so that you can take a look at the wall right now. Tragedy strikes on KGF star Yash's birthday. It happened on Saturday night in Karnataka's Gadag. Fans of actor Yash wanted to do something very, very different, something very, very special for the actor on his 38th birthday, and decided to make a big metal cutout of him, which was nearly 25 feet. These men were known to put up huge cutouts of their favorite stars in the village. Even as a few men were mounting a metal cutout of the actor, the cutout came in contact with a live wire, instantly killing 3 men and seriously injuring the other 3. All the dead were very young men and supposed to be die-hard fans of Yash. Their names: Hanumanta Harijan, who was all of 21, Murali Nandu Vinamani, who was 20, and Naveen Gaji, who was 19. While those who escaped the accident have been identified as Manjunath, Prakash and Deepak, who are right now undergoing treatment at the local hospital. When the villagers heard the screaming and shouting and the commotion, they rushed to the spot and took the injured to hospital. The ray of hope is that in this mishap, all the 3 injured are responding rather well to the treatment, and actually 2 have almost recovered, and I pray that the 3rd one also recovers completely. Even as the injured are recuperating in hospital, the bodies of those who lost their lives while they were putting up the metal cutout and were electrocuted, their bodies were brought to the village on Monday morning for the last rites. Meanwhile, Karnataka Law Minister H.K. Patil has announced a compensation of rupees 2 lakhs to every deceased family and 50,000 compensation for the injured. It is Yash's birthday. He turned 38. It's a birthday maybe which has gone wrong, and a terrible accident happened. But each year when it is KGF star Yash's birthday, the entire village in Gadag will also stand up to pay their respects to these men whose love for the actor surpassed many, many barriers. South Indian is about to say goodbye to you, but before that, don't miss this documentary. Is war a suitable option to win back POK, or can we go through the International Court of Justice to address this unfinished business? That's coming up in a moment, and it's time for the South Indian to say Vanakkam, Namaskaram, take care of yourself, and happy birthday, KGF star Yash.